G'day guys, and just welcome back to another video. We're doing sort of part 3 of my sort of talking about the Aliens franchise. Today I'm going to be talking about the new Prometheus movie, new Ridley Scott movie that came out the other day. Just sort of giving you sort of my thoughts on that. Now I think this video might be perhaps a bit late uploading this video. Today's went and saw the movie on Thursday, and today's Monday at the moment. But I did actually sort of go and see it again on Saturday, because I sort of wanted to go back and try and perhaps sort of I think I sort of missed a few bits. So to get a bit more of an understanding of the film, I suppose. Then of course I had the weekend, and also changing my internet service provider at the moment. So I think the one I was with was a bit expensive, so I sort of found a better plan with a different company, and hopefully save myself some money. So what I think, I actually thought it was a really good movie. Not perfect. I had a few issues with some of it, but I think overall it was a sort of very sort of fresh and a really good sort of sci-fi type movie. A lot better than some of the crap that Hollywood's sort of been dealing out to us over the last couple of years. First of all, I don't think it's not some people arguing about whether it's a prequel or not. I don't think it's not a direct prequel, but because I hear this might be some sequels to this movie. So same as like Star Wars. Episode 1 is not a direct prequel to Episode 4, sort of thing. But I think they're all sort of. So I think essentially this would be one of the sequels, one of the prequels. To the Alien, movies, stuff like that. But yeah, I thought it was a really good movie. Basically, I'm sort of looking at the storyline, but I'll sort of go through it anyway. Essentially, you're sort of, these archaeologists sort of, doing research on different sort of cave pangs all across the world, and they sort of, see these similar sort of picture, I suppose, of this sort of, these sort of tall beings sort of pointing to a sort of star system, and we sort of see it as perhaps a bit of an invitation to us sort of Earthlings to visit this place. So so we sort of spend $1 trillion and get on a ship and go and search go there and search it out. And obviously it doesn't quite turn out the way it's what it's supposed to. Yeah. So you've got who's in it? You've got let's have a look here. You've got Naomi Rapace playing Elizabeth Shaw. Michael Fassbender playing David, the android or the synthetic human. Charlie Frison playing Meredith Figures. Very sexy, I think. Chris Elba playing Janek. Guy Pearce playing Peter Whelan. And then we've got, what's his name? Logan Marshall Green playing Charlie Holloway, probably the most annoying character out of the whole movie. I think they're sort of the main ones. But yeah, I thought it was it's a really good movie, really great sort of art design to it, and very sort of classic sci-fi. Just great sort of sets, and it was a very interesting storyline. I think some of it was I got this impression that some of the scenes were sort of cut a bit short, or sort of sections were sort of cut out. But I'll come back to that a bit later. But definitely a great movie, definitely one sort of worth watching. The only real problems I had with it was probably some of the characters were a bit stupid. I don't know, they sort of didn't really. They're supposed to be scientists, but they act like a bunch. Like another reviewer said, they act like a bunch of school kids on their very first excursion. Basically, going to this new planet and sort of yahooing and rushing to the sort of the dome. They come to the little sort of dome thing. Rushing in and start, pressing buttons and what does this do? What's it going to do if we press that? Sort of stuff, and that's a bit silly. Like taking off their helmets and it's silly like that. But I think I sort of watched a few other YouTube videos, and I watched the Amazing Atheists video. And he sort of, I think what he was trying to say, it might be sort of a way to sort of show that how sort of naive humanity is, and how we're sort of rushing, which very excited to learn new things, and sometimes we're not very cautious and we sort of jump in and so I think maybe that's sort of why they all sort of like that perhaps, and doing stupid things, but it's still very stupid. Um, what else has he problems with? I think I'm pretty sure it's like some of the definitely sort of set up for a sequel. I think because there's sort of chunks missing. I'm sure, sort of towards the end. Especially after, I mean, I don't want to. I might should do spoilers in this. Well, I haven't seen it yet. You know, don't blame me. But the sort of scene after the sort of the surgery scene, we'll call it, where it just seems to be like the big sort of chunk missing out of the film. I think like I don't know, like it's a bit sort of way people act, and because sort of up to that point, it's sort of, for me anyway, I was sort of guessing that the engineers are essentially, I think they were sort of creating life and perhaps creating planets. They might have perhaps been doing that for so many, I don't know, hundreds of years or whatever, and for some reason on this planet, I think this sort of the black stuff I sort of saw that as being like a bit of a parasite that somehow sort of got into the mix, and sort of started to do evil things, and it started to attack them back. So I think that's why they were sort of in such a rush to leave. But then we sort of after the surgery scene, we sort of have, for some reason, some of the characters start believing all of a sudden that the engineers were trying to kill us and stuff. Like I didn't sort of see the connection to that. Like it's sort of a bit missing out of the film that was supposed to sort of explain that. But I mean, perhaps I missed something, but I couldn't sort of see a direct connection between those sort of two elements. And I mean, there's also a scene where very sort of clunky scene where between the ship's captain and Charlie Theron's character, and because she sort of get the impression that she might be a bit of an android, and so I think he sort of asked her out directly, "Are you a robot or whatever?" And she says, "Meet me in my cabin in 10 minutes, and I'll show you that I'm not an android," type of thing. And that's a very sort of clunky scene, and I think from that I immediately thought that she's definitely is an android. I mean, there's a lot of sort of hints to that through the film. I mean, because if you watch, I was listening to another review, and he sort of put that in some sort of context, and he was saying in the very first Alien movie where you've got, I think it's Ash, the sort of medical officer. We find out that he's an android, and there's a scene which no one really thinks about. There's a scene where they're sort of about to go, sort of set foot on the planet, and they're about to go and explore the ship or whatever they're going, supposed to explore. Then there's just their single, and there's this scene where he sort of gets ready, and he starts to sort of jog on the spot and like sort of exercise sort of thing, which some people work into this. Obviously, because he's an android, he needs to sort of exercise his joints a bit, and because it's the same thing. David does the same thing in Prometheus. He's constantly sort of exercising and sort of thing, and also the same. When you sort of beginning of the film, what's the very first thing that Charlie Theron does? As soon as she gets out of the sleeping chamber, she automatically is doing push-ups on the ground. She's still soaking wet, and she didn't bother to dry herself. As soon as she got out, she started to exercise, and then sort of seemed to be in some sort of pain as well. She was very sore from being in the same spot. So that's, I was sort of leading past that. I think she is an android. I think that sort of clunky. Sort of sex scene, or pre-sex scene was, obviously trying to sort of throw the audience off perhaps a little bit. What else? And there's a lot of other sort of scenes that are just sort of a bit characters that do stupid things, and certain things that happen doesn't make sense. We're never really quite sure of certain characters' sort of motivation. Like you've got David, and he sort of runs off and does his own thing, and as soon as he gets into the printer read, he's reading all the the hieroglyphics, and automatically sort of starts pressing things and opening things up and stuff. I mean, I think that sort of annoyed me, but I think you sort of find out that obviously there's a big sort of bit of a twist at the end with Wayland, the curator. He's actually on the ship, and so I think obviously David's been taught to basically, as soon as he gets there, he's got to, as fast as he can, try and find a solution to, help out Wayland, because he obviously wants to, not die, and so there's a bit of, time pressure to. I think that's why David's so intense on, opening things up and exploring everything, and, but I also think maybe I think maybe David's gone a bit nutty. I think too. He's been on the, I don't know, just maybe he's been on the ship. Was it 2 years or 2 or 4 years all by himself, sort of no one to talk to, and he's. So I think, I don't know, maybe just me, but I think he's perhaps gone a little bit nutty and he's had all this time to think to himself about things, and yeah, I don't know, he's trying to sort of, I don't know, understand the world, I suppose, and maybe he's gone a bit nutty in that. But anyway, so I think that's sort of his motivation, because he needs to sort of, help out Wayland and stuff like that. Yeah, and I think, Naomi Rapace is really good, really sort of playing like a really sort of a Ripley style character. She's pretty good. I didn't sort of like that. I mean, I did enjoy that sort of the surgery scene, but to me, I just sort of found that a little bit pointless. I couldn't really quite see the point of that, really. I think it's more of perhaps a bit of a nod to the audience, to the Aliens fan. It's definitely a film that I think they sort of weren't too sure if they're going to get a sequel. So I think they had to sort of chuck a few things in just to sort of try and sort of finish things off, and without sort of not leaving too many gaps, I suppose. But obviously it's going to be a sequel, and obviously I'm pretty sure they're going to. You might see a bit of perhaps a few sort of flashbacks to the first movie in the sequel, where it's sort of showing perhaps some of these missing scenes, and it might sort of help for us to understand the storyline a little bit better. That's my theory, anyway. Also, Guy Pearce was really good as well. I think a lot of people sort of weren't quite sure why he was sort of dressed up in sort of old man makeup, but I was pretty sure that they were going to perhaps in the sequel we might see him as a younger man. I think that's why they had to, obviously he's old in the first part, and then in the sequel we might see a few scenes where he's a lot younger. So I think that's why they did that. But also I did hear that I think some of the scenes were cut. There were some scenes with him being a younger man, but I think some of those were cut out of this film. So I don't know, I might be wrong on that perhaps. I think the Charlie character he was very annoying, and taking his helmet off and yahooing, and he sort of got infected during the movie and didn't bother to tell anyone until the last minute, and it's just very annoying type of character, very arrogant too. I think that's why. That's not necessarily why I think David sort of poisoned him with the the little drop of thing. I think that's just more David's attempt to try and speed things up, in terms of trying to find out about things. To try and find out, a cure perhaps for Wayland, I guess. A lot of, they're sort of doing all these stupid things and rushing in, and it's sort of, in some ways, I think that sort of affected their obviously their progress. But I definitely thought it was a great movie, apart from the few issues that I had with it. Definitely worth a watch. I definitely recommend people to go and see it. I did sort of see it once in 3D and once just in 2D. And I didn't really notice all that much difference, really. I didn't think there was any real reason to sort of see it in 3D. A lot of people reckon the 3D was really good and some of the best I've ever seen, but I didn't really notice that different really from other sort of 3D movies that I've sort of seen. Definitely, that's sort of my thoughts on the movie. I'm just still trying to process it, I guess. I'm still missing a few things, still perhaps confused on a few things. But I'm pretty sure they're going to make a sequel, I think. If they don't make a sequel, I'm pretty sure Ridley Scott's going to make a director's cut, which will probably include the sort of scenes that are missing. I'm pretty sure there's some scenes missing out of it. But anyway, so thanks for listening. Want to make some comments below? That'd be great. Till next time, I'll see you all later. Bye.